Welcome back to Whiskey Sports. I'm here with my guy Rhett.
What's up? What's up? How was the
Uh,
weekend?
Another video. My weekend was awful. Just kidding. In my life, I had a phenomenal weekend with my family
Okay.
at a wedding. But my sports side, not so great. Auburn forgot how to score in the second half yet again, and lost miserably, 21-17. So,
I had a phenomenal weekend.
yeah,
Tennessee had a bye week. I had no stress.
yeah.
Football on all weekend. I'm going to Baton Rouge next week, so I hung low, stay in
Tomorrow.
the house, watched football, and gambled. I mean, I don't think there's much better situation than that.
Nope, that's me this
Um,
weekend, and then next weekend we have a bye. So
Gotcha. I mean, we woke up with Ole Miss, Kentucky. That was a pretty damn
man,
good first game, just like it's going to be a good first game this Saturday. But, you know, I truly think, Kentucky's line sucks. They're really bad, but I truly think they were the better team in this. They just kind of kept giving the ball away there at the end.
yep,
Um, I'll ask you another question here in a minute, but I don't know. How did you, I know you didn't get to catch a lot of the game, but it seems like in the wrong times against good teams, Will Levis just does not take care of the ball as good as he should. He sits back in the pocket, and it seems like a lot of people are, oh, the second fumble wasn't on him. It kind of was. He sits back there for 3, 4, 5 seconds. I mean, I don't understand how the line is supposed to block as long as he stands back there. Sometimes you need to eat
yeah.
it, throw it away.
I quit watching after the first fumble when he ran up the middle. I don't know if it was for a first down, but he was running and they tackled him and he fumbled
Yeah, he
with
tried to make a play.
250
That I
left.
don't really mind that fumble there. He tried to
Oh,
make a play. He got flipped.
I
And
saw that and I turned it off. I thought it was over. I was like, well, there it is right there. You can't make mistakes, especially late
yeah,
in the game. I thought I still think Kentucky's the better team.
I
I
do as well. Yeah,
I was really pulling for Ole Miss, for Kentucky hard.
I never pulled for Kentucky, but
I just want them to win because I want Lane Kiffin at Auburn.
I
But
get it. The
yeah,
question I want to ask you is that though there is so much love going to Will Levis. I think it's absolutely asinine that there is. Sure, he has talent, just like a lot of quarterbacks that we see come out of college have talent. And you see every single week they're like he might jump Stroud and Bryce Young as the number one pick. There's no doubt the kid has talent, but good gosh, do you agree with that? Like the number one overall draft pick over
yeah.
maybe you see it over like a Bryce Young because he's a little bit smaller and shorter
I think it's
quarterbacks
more
besides
so
like Drew Brees here
potential.
and there.
I think it's more so potential. I mean, he's got the body size, and he's 6'2",
Sure.
6'3", two
But
twenty.
I think the diamond in the rough people are comparing him to, which this happened one time and it hasn't happened since, or even before him, was Josh Allen. The big frame, the
A strong
cannon of an
arm.
arm, can
Yeah.
run a little bit. But that Josh Allen, that was a 1 in a million chance the Bills took, and they ended up succeeding. But it doesn't happen often at all. These guys that aren't very good in college that have the talent end up not being very good pros. I mean, most of the time.
Yeah. I also think Josh Allen actually put it on the field, though. I mean, he was playing Wyoming. I think that was a big thing for him was he's only playing whoever Wyoming plays. He wasn't playing top talent. Will Levis kind of is. Um, I
It's
think I
decision
think
making and
it's full of
accuracy,
potential.
man.
It's the potential. He's got,
Yeah.
like we said, it's the body size, it's the arm strength. He checks all the boxes on paper. But the thing is,
Besides the
can he
two
do it
main
on?
boxes, the middle and the accuracy. I mean, he
Yeah,
can't really read a defense that well. I mean,
no,
I guess we'll see.
yeah.
Um,
But I don't think he's better. I think he's top five in the quarterbacks in the SEC for sure. But I don't think he's number one overall pick unless you're going to base it off potential. Then that's the only thing
yeah,
I think of.
yeah. The next thing, won't talk about it much, but Oklahoma is just frauds. I mean, TCU came out and just blasted them.
Yeah, they
And
did. Dylan
they
Gabriel.
were up. They were up 3+ touchdowns before Dylan
Yeah,
Gabriel even got hurt. So
yeah,
people making that excuse, they were already down by 21 points.
yeah. They were. Yeah, they were. I mean, TCU. I didn't realize TCU was that good, or if Oklahoma is that bad. I don't really know.
I think it's a combination of TCU maybe being pretty good, maybe not great, and Oklahoma just being Oklahoma year in, year out. They always have two
Yeah,
or three duds of games where you're just like, what is going on? It's
Yeah, it's also
really
Brent's
crazy.
first year, so give him that time, I would assume. But he is a defensive guy, and you definitely can't get beat like how you did.
He's a defensive guy, and they gave up 55 points
Exactly.
midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I mean,
mean, you're not winning that game with Peyton Manning at quarterback.
it's
Can you?
41-17 at half, man. Like I
Yeah,
can't, they can't, you can't allow 41.
yeah. Big news. I haven't seen anything today. I think Bryce is going to play, but Alabama, Arkansas obviously happened. Bryce, they're up 28-0. They're cruising like the old 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 years ago Alabama used to do on the road. Just get up quick, put the nail in the coffin. Bryce Young gets hurt, maybe rotator cuff. I don't know. I haven't really read anything. Milrow comes in. They get very one dimensional. Arkansas pulls back, and then obviously Bama took over there at the end. But have you seen anything on the Bryce Young injury?
I have not. They were thinking it was going to be a lot worse than it was, but ended up not being too bad. Um, I think he's going to be able to play this weekend, though.
That's what I think. I think I saw that
Yeah.
he was going to end up playing.
I'm sure they're going to come out and like, oh, he needs to have surgery after the season or some shit like that. But I think he's going to be fine for the rest of the year. I think nothing, a couple
Yeah, I
shots and
mean,
stuff.
if he does need some sort of minor surgery or anything, if I'm his agent, I'm probably hanging it up right there. I'm
Yeah,
like, dude, no, you get it now. You need to be fully healthy before the NFL draft combine and stuff. But
yeah.
that's also the Tennessee coming out into me. Very scared of playing Bryce Young in 2 weeks. Um,
No, I want to talk about that game a little bit.
yeah,
Arkansas, Arkansas had the game in their hand, and there's something you can't do when you play Alabama. When they make mistakes, you have to jump on top of that. You have to step on their throat, and if you just give them just a little bit of breathing room, it's over. They had all the momentum going up 20, or it was 28,
23.
28-20. But I'm saying is it was fourth
No,
and
it's
goal.
28-23, right?
They had back up before they kicked the field goal.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
It's fourth and goal. You have to go for it. You can't go for the points. If you're trying to beat a team like Alabama,
Yeah.
you have to go and score. You're
I
on.
don't think I think you're thinking in hindsight. I don't necessarily agree with you because they were so one dimensional. Milrow literally looked like he can't throw. I think he had confidence in, hey, if they're one dimensional, I mean, we can come out here and stop them if we know a run's going to happen. So I did say I disagree. I don't disagree or agree. I think in that situation, you have to be aggressive. I agree there, but I also understand Sam Pittman's thinking and that, hey, they're totally one dimensional now. There's no way they can move the ball on us. And they haven't
Well,
in 3 or 4 drives.
my thing is just it's already hard enough to drive on them, and you're already at fourth and goal, and if you don't get it, you got them pinned back, and you do have to trust your defense because you already know they can't throw.
That's a good point. No, that's a very good. You do have a pin back there, and they can't throw either way. I mean, at the 1 yard line, you're hardly ever going to throw it, but they're double not going to throw it because Milrow can't
It
throw. I
just
mean,
you just can't play conservative. I've seen it too
I
many
get it.
times.
I agree. Then you convinced me. I agree. I'm just saying, in the moment, it's not a terror. It's not the
Oh
worst thing
yeah,
you've
and I'm not
ever
saying it's a
seen.
bad call. Like
Yeah.
you got points on the board, but then guess what? You got to do it again. If you want to win the
Right.
game, you have to score now.
Sure.
Just
Sure.
tough.
Um, Big win for Clemson with that offense. Again, I'm not too faithful in NC State because their offense was supposed to be much better than it is this year. Now their defense is very, very good. But
Yeah.
I'm starting to get more and more faith in Clemson as we go along, more and more as I can you know me, I can never say his name, Ukulele.
Ukulele. Come on.
The more he performs, the more I'm not excited about Clemson, but the more I'm like, okay, this is the Clemson of 2, 3 years ago because their defense is there and it's awesome.
Their defense is there.
And
I
if
mean,
that
that's
offense
my
gets
D
to
line.
clicking like it has been the last couple of
Yeah.
weeks, that's a playoff team, no doubt.
No question. And Ukulele just has to get that confidence. He doesn't have it. He hasn't had it in the past year or whatever. Maybe he's just a slow developer. I don't really know, but he is starting to hit his stride a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be enough to win a playoff game, but sure, throw him in there.
Yeah. I think the playoff I think it is because the playoff I just don't think there's any one team that is just so above the rest like it normally is. I think there's a lot more parity in college football this year than there has been. Now, it's still going to be the same top 4 teams that we've seen
Yeah,
over the last few years: Georgia, Ohio State, Bama,
but I don't
Clemson.
think anybody's dominant.
But none of those four are just straight up dominant. I
Yep.
think they have matchups that fare better than other matchups, just like any team. But I don't think any one of those teams is a clear cut favorite at this point in the season. Speaking of, I mean, Georgia against Missouri this week, you know, you can't say they were overlooking. You can't really say that it was a letdown game. They just got off of barely scraping by a Kent State team 38-22. So you're like, oh, they're going to take all their frustration out of
Yeah.
Missouri, you know, and they came out flat again. It's like Stetson didn't look too hot in the first half. You know, things were not going their way for a first time in a while, but Missouri is not a good football team, and there's no way they should be coming up 10 with 14 or with the in the
I
fourth
laugh
quarter.
because
There's no way that should happen.
I laugh because Auburn should have lost to Missouri. Let's be real. Missouri gave us the game, but no, you're absolutely right. Missouri, it should be last in the SEC. I think Vanderbilt. I don't know if they've played yet, but
I
uh,
don't think Vanderbilt will beat them. The only reason is because I
yeah,
do think Missouri's D line is not bad. It's pretty good.
yeah,
But other than that, their secondary, their linebackers, everything else isn't that great. But it's just surprising to me to see that 2 weeks in a row from a Kirby team. And now it's like, okay, now you can even see Vegas. They're like 2 weeks of bad football. Now they're going to pint up all their frustration and put it on
yeah.
your boys
And I mean,
this weekend in Sanford Stadium.
it happens, man. And yeah, they are going back home. They are going back home, man. That's going to be a scary game. Basically, I'm saying we have another bye. We have 2 bye weeks this weekend, next week, because we'll get into that game in a minute. But
Yeah. And then the last thing I say, I'm not going to go into depth, but shout out to Kansas, top 25, baby. They came a long way. That was a tough game last week. Iowa State missed what 3 field goals, I think, to lose that game, but doesn't matter.
ends a
Kansas is
win.
top 25, and it's awesome. Good for
Yep.
them. Game days going there, deservedly so for TCU Kansas. I think we'll
Excited.
talk about that game, but we'll see.
That's the first game on. So TCU goes to Kansas. Kansas is +7 at home. Over under is 68.5. You can start it.
God, 68 and a half. I mean, it might.
No defense whatsoever.
There's not going to be much defense. You know, I don't know what to make of TCU because they've had some really good games, but they've also had some stinkers. Like they barely beat SMU, and I know Taron Mordecai is a damn good quarterback for SMU, but and then they come out there and just blast Oklahoma. So I don't want to just overreact, but I think this is the game that Kansas that falls. Unfortunately, I think TCU has more firepower on offense than Kansas does. That does not mean Jalen Daniels isn't going to come out here and ball. I think it's going to be a really close game. But I just think TCU, and I really like Sonny Dykes. I think he's a mastermind out there as an offensive coordinator. I know he's a head coach, but his offensive mind is just unbelievable. So I think Kansas falls.
No. I like Kansas +7. I like them a little bit of sprinkle of the money line.
I'm okay with +7. I was saying falls like they get defeated.
I like
I like them
+7.
+7 though.
Um, man, they're just hot. And to be honest with you, I think TCU's big game of the year was last week against Oklahoma. I think that's kind of they had that circled on the map. That's a big game for them. I don't think they're looking at Oklahoma like they're going to look at Kansas like they are or like they did Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of like, it's Kansas. We're not really worried about that. And Kansas can come in here and smack them in the mouth. And I don't know, especially if them being away, I don't know how much Kansas home is, that big of a deal. But
They're selling out, but they're selling out a small stadium.
correct,
With
that's what I'm saying. So
tickets.
like they're going to punch them in the mouth. But
Yeah.
uh, I like the under 68. I don't think that many points are going to be scored. I think Kansas defense is going to step up. So I like Kansas +7 and the under 68.5. That's a lot of
The
points.
only refrain I have for you here, or the rebuttal, is every game is a big game for Kansas this year. Every single game.
Exactly. Let's ride it out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You said TCU's only big. I mean, Kansas, 5-0. Have they had 5 wins in a decade or two? I don't think so.
Yeah,
And it's awesome to see.
it is. And you may be right, but I got to keep them. I got to keep going with them.
Ride what's hot.
Um,
TCU's hot too, though.
Next game, Tennessee LSU in Baton Rouge. You'll be there.
I will be there.
I'm gonna give you my hint right here. I'm gonna give you my answer. So I've been in my head all week. Tennessee money line, -145. I want to say 150. Man, but I think that everyone is on Tennessee.
Line's been moving down.
Everyone's on LSU.
It's at 2 now. It started the week at 4.
Well, shit. There goes what I was going to say. I was going to go against you and go LSU +3.
Go out. No, you can still get him at +3.
Well, I did. I thought people were picking LSU more. I didn't know
It's
people.
moved from 4 to 2.5. I saw, and then I think it was eking down to 2 is what I was reading on Twitter. But I think each sporting site has something different. It's
Yeah.
all around that number. So
I, I'm going to go. But the problem is I want to go against Tennessee because I don't know if they can win in Baton Rouge. But it is 11 a.m. game. Auburn beat up LSU last weekend. They lost somebody going in the hospital. Uh, what's his name? JT Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. He's hurt, man. He slid on a 5 or 10 yard scramble and tried to slide, and his knees buckled. They said during the game his knee was locking up, and the backup had to play to end the game. I don't know how healthy they're going to be. I think whatever you said last week, you were right. We banged them up, like you said. I want to go LSU at +3 just because of Vegas. Simple. I think Tennessee,
Yeah.
but Vegas has won a lot this year, so I'm going to go LSU +3 at home.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for this trip. I've never been to Baton Rouge. I am excited. I think we can. I think we can get him at night. I don't think the noise bothers our offense as much because we go so fast. The crowd would have to never like quit being loud if you get what I mean. You know what I mean? Like normal if the team is huddling up or something, crowds kind of have a little rest, and then once they break the huddle, they get loud again. With how fast our offense is, they would have to be consistent. I'm not ever putting anything by Cajuns, but they'd have to be consistently loud the entire game. So I think even if it was, I would be so much more scared if it was at night. But I think we could still edge by since it's an 11 a.m. game, and since I think we'll probably bring 15 to 20,000 Vol fans, which is quite a bit for an away game, you know, it scares me because our pass defense is so bad, but it doesn't scare me because Jaden Daniels can't pass. We said that about AR and Anthony Richardson, but the thing is, Anthony Richardson is bad at passing, but all he needs to do is get hot because he has so much potential. His arm strength is crazy, and I don't know if Jaden Daniels has it to
I
keep
don't
up
think
with
he had
our offense.
85 yards against Auburn, and
So I don't think
I
our
mean,
run defense is really good, and I don't know if he has enough in the tank, Jaden Daniels passing to be able to keep up. I still think this is a close game because of our defense. Any good team we play, it's going to be close because we can't really stop them. But I like us by a touchdown.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been Tennessee all week. It just makes sense. We beat up LSU last week. I don't know why this line's so low, especially how good Tennessee has been. It just doesn't make sense because we held Jaden Daniels to 85 passing yards last week, and Auburn's not good. I think y'all are two
I think your
tiers.
passing defense is still better than. I mean, we're 128th in the country passing defense.
Oh shit.
Top 20th in the country in run defense though. So you give and take, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be closer than what people think. I think.
But the stat that I'm going with is Robbie Ashford threw for 340 yards against that LSU defense. There's no telling what Hendon Hooker can
I
post.
agree with that too. Agree with that too.
You
So
know,
I think it's
we'll
gonna be.
see though. It's going to be close. It's going to be a game, and I'm really excited to be down
Yep.
there for sure.
The next team is Texas and Oklahoma. Texas is at Oklahoma. Texas is -6.5, so they are. Yeah, and then over under is 65.5.
Well, I wonder when the last time this Red River rivalry happened, and one of them wasn't ranked. They're both unranked. It's crazy.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I
Oklahoma's
guess
been,
yeah.
Oklahoma's been kind of carrying that torch the last 5 or 6 years, but before that, they kind of were both always ranked.
Yep.
And now neither of them are ranked. And what were you saying? What's the line?
6.5 Texas.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh, that's a big line in Texas, or it's
at
neutral.
Oklahoma. At Oklahoma.
It's neutral
Oh,
side, I thought.
I don't know. It just had like the home and away when I.
Gotcha. You know, I like Texas's defense this year, and I think that puts them over the top in this game, and they win by more than a touchdown. That's my analysis because obviously I don't think Ewers is playing. If he was, then I'd be very confident in them.
I've seen he's
Um,
questionable.
I just don't. Oklahoma's defense is so bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter who's playing quarterback for Texas, and Texas has got a good defense. They made Bama look pretty bad, you know. I guess Adrian Martinez did kind of run all over them, but I like them in this game.
Well,
Six and a half is a lot for a rivalry game, but I like them in this game.
Is Dylan Gabriel out?
Is he not out?
I don't know. Is he out?
I thought he was gonna. I mean, he had a concussion. I mean, I guess with Tua and everything now, no one cares if anybody gets concussions anymore. I guess we just sling people out there and just let them go. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's crazy.
the doctors are probably just like, "Hey, kid, you ready? You got a concussion, but you good? Yep, okay." I don't know what's going on out there. He may play. I mean, hell with the. I guess two concussion ain't 2 weeks anymore like it used to be.
Well, I don't know who's playing, but
Yeah, my bad. I should have known that. I didn't. I don't know.
I like the under 65.5. I don't think they're going to score that many points. If Dylan's out and Quinn's out, both deep. I mean, Oklahoma's defense isn't that great, but Texas offense isn't that great either. So I
Right.
think Oklahoma's gonna have some stops. And if Quinn Ewers isn't playing, I saw he was questionable, but Texas isn't going to score as much. So I'm looking like a 24-10 win by Texas.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that low scoring, but I do like them. I like them to win by more than a touchdown.
Yeah.
I'll look up while we're discussing too if Dylan Gabriel is playing.
Um, Next game is Arkansas at Mississippi State. Mississippi State's -9, over under is 59.
Golly, there's some pretty big lines this week.
It
Minus
sure is
nine.
-9. But dude, Mississippi State supposedly that team this year beat A&M last weekend.
I
Pretty.
hope they're not that team because that means LSU's that team because LSU dog walked
No,
them.
that's true. That's true.
Um,
But then struggled against a bad Auburn team.
this game's gonna be weird, but at home, I, I'm just not a big fan of Arkansas right now, man. I think you were right the last couple weeks. You know, KJ. I mean, KJ's just regressed throwing the football. He's still an okay runner, but he has regressed throwing the football, and I'm not confident in him at all. Um, Now they do have Rocket Sanders, who's awesome, but they're pretty one dimensional. I like Mississippi State to have a pretty good game plan for that, and I like Will Rogers to have a big day.
Yeah, man. Well, Mississippi State's on a roll right now. Big win last weekend. Back
Yeah,
at home this weekend. Dude, they're hot, and they're going to give Alabama a run for their money. I think I was having a conversation with a friend the other day. I think, out of anybody in the West that's going to give Alabama a problem, it's going to be Mississippi State because they can just score and score and score and not let up. Um, so I like Mississippi State big this weekend against Arkansas. I think Arkansas gave Alabama everything they had, and I think they're just going to be worn out. I like Mississippi State in a blowout this weekend.
sweet.
Uh, Next game, I'm betting with my heart this game. Auburn, Auburn and Georgia in Athens. Georgia -30.5. That hadn't happened in a very long time for Auburn, but the over-under is 49. I'll let you go first.
This is such a tough game because I think Georgia is 30 points better than Auburn, but they have not played like it the last 2 weeks. Um, you know, Auburn's offense is coming around. Now they still have the most pitiful op- uh, second half offense, but also I think beyond 50-yard line offense I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen worse plays called in the red zone. It's really bad. So they're going to be kicking a lot of field goals in this game. The crowd's going to be hyped. They haven't played in Sanford against a SEC team in a few weeks. Um, give me
This is
give
our
me
first road game, by
I
the way.
still
By
30
the
is just
way.
too much for me, man. 30 is too much. Give me plus 31 and give me I'm going to be rooting for a push. 45 to 10. Oh, 45-10 would be covering. Oh, man, 45-13. Give me no, sorry,
Thank you for
Georgia.
giving us
Give me
30.
Georgia. The
I was about
scores
to
I'm giving
say.
out, give me Georgia. I like them 45-10 by 35 points.
Um,
Golly, that's a hard game.
so I'm going to say this. I got a good little theory right now.
They sorry, I'm interrupting you, but they got gashed last week against Missouri. And if there's one thing that Auburn can do, if anything, it's run the football with a tandem of Tank, Robbie, and the young kid, 27. I can't remember his name.
Dark West Hunter.
So this is a tricky line. I wouldn't touch it.
Man, I'm going to tell you. Brian Harsin is not fit for the SEC. I don't think he's a bad human being. I think he's actually a really good person.
That
Uh,
has affairs.
that wasn't true, but
Uh,
anyways, regardless, we ain't talking about that. I think he's a good person. I think he's a good guy. This is going to be Brian Harsin's last game. I may have said it last week and I don't remember, but this is his last game, and I think Auburn's going to play hard for him. I will give him one thing that they do play hard for him, and he's got that locker room. I think they have good chemistry. He's just not a good coach in the SEC. It's just simple. With it, I think this is going to be his last game. They're saying they're going to fire him on Sunday morning, going into the bye, kind of give us, a week, 2 weeks really, to kind of get everything together. So I like Auburn plus 31. I think it's going to be closer than what people think. I think it's going to be by 20, 25, 28 range. Georgia's going to win. But I do think Auburn's going to cover 31 just because they're going to play pretty hard for Brian's last game.
Fair.
Yep. So, and then our last game is A&M and Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Whew. Minus 24 Alabama. Over under is 51.5. I'm going to go Alabama minus 24. And to be honest with you, I would even, if I could do an alternate spread, I'd go Alabama minus 31. I think Alabama's going to absolutely, oh shit, Bryce Young's out.
Maybe. It's looking to me like he's playing.
Okay, if Bryce Young's playing, I'm going to say this. Alabama's going to beat them by 45 plus. A&M has 0% chance to win. Nick Saban's going to stomp on the necks of A&M and not let up. They're going to continue to score and continue to score and continue to score. All that shit Jimbo was talking, and now his team is dog shit. So give me Alabama minus 31 if I can do that, plus 400. Okay.
Yeah. If Bryce Young plays, A&M can't score, so they won't score on Bama.
It's
They
in
let Mississippi
now.
State really score at will on them, so their
Yep.
defense may not be as good as advertised.
Yep.
Jimbo beat them last year, then talk shit. I don't know about 31, but definitely give me 24
Yeah.
pretty
I think
easily.
that's mortal lock of the week right there. They're
I
gonna get
like a you could I think you could do a teaser this week with some teams, I think
no
you could
question.
go you could do like a Georgia 20, like a 7 point teaser, Georgia 24, Bama 17,
Tennessee
Texas pick
plus
them.
5.
Oh yeah, I mean I think you could do a pretty large teaser here and get away with it.
Yeah.
And I don't usually say that, but
Mississippi State, that's 4 games right there
yeah,
for
I
sure. I
think a
like
teaser might be smart in college
Mississippi
football this
State
week.
minus 2, Alabama minus 17, Georgia minus 23.5, and then Tennessee plus 5.
Yeah,
That's pretty solid right
and
there.
then you could do a Texas pick 'em.
Yeah.
That's a scary game, though. That's still a
Texas
scary
is
game
like,
because you
holy
never know in
shit.
a rivalry game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, I do like that. Now we're going to go over to the NFL. So we have not been doing, or we've been doing videos, but for some reason we can only do one video at a time. I don't know why, but it's not saving right. So we're going to do two college football and NFL into one. First game NFL. We don't really have any recaps for you because you haven't seen our videos. So we're going to go Colts and Broncos. Thursday night football, Broncos minus 3. What do you like? Also, Jonathan Taylor is out.
Jonathan Taylor is out, so I think Vegas is going to get some money this week.
They're going to get a
Um,
lot of money this
I
weekend.
think there's going to be a lot of people hammering Broncos minus 3.
Yep.
And I'm just not confident in that Broncos team right now. I think they lost the trade with Russell Wilson because he does not look good. But there's going to be people hammering that line for the Broncos, and in that case, and I'm not even so confident that I would not pick the Colts anyways. But I like the Colts. Give me a point because I think it'll be a 3 point game either way. Give me Colts plus 4, so I don't push.
Yeah.
And I really like that because I think Vegas is coming out
They are.
hot this Thursday.
They are. I mean, I'm a ride with you, dude. I like the Colts plus 4 as well, and also like the under 42. Colts aren't that great, but their offense started to kind of move a little bit last week against the Titans in the second half, especially.
We kind of went into prevent mode, but
We did, but
shit.
with John Taylor out, they're going to be focusing on passing. I think Matt Ryan can get one game under his belt, especially with a struggling Broncos team. So I like Colts plus 4 and under 42.
Gotcha. I like
Next
it.
game is Titans minus 2.5 in Washington. Over under 42. What do you like?
I'm getting a little bit better and more confident in the Titans as the season goes along, but we need to fix Vrabel needs to fix our second half woes. We're getting outscored 63-7 in the second half, and it's getting pretty abysmal.
Yep.
Um, Away in Washington, weather bearing. If the weather's bad though, I think it helps us as well. I like Vrabel against teams and our defense against teams in QB who likes to turn the ball over a lot. I do. I think
Yep.
we may not be the best defense in the NFL, but we're due a turnover or two every game, and then you add Carson Wentz to that mix. He's always prone for a turnover or two and and a fumble or two. So I like the Titans in this game. I'm actually pretty confident, and now that I say that, we probably will come out and lay an egg. But I'm
Yep.
pretty confident in the Titans this week, especially now that we got Henry going. He's looking like him old self. He's hitting holes hard. I like the Titans this week.
Yeah.
-2. I mean,
I,
basically,
I think so too, but it just kind of depends on what Carson Wentz we get. He has not done really anything the past 2 weeks. I have him as my fantasy quarterback, so he's dog shit, or has been dog shit. I like Titans money line.
fair.
I like the over 42 and a half. I think there's gonna be some points scored. Carson Wentz is going to have his 2 or 3 passing touchdowns, but he's also going to have his 2 to 3 interceptions as well. So I think Titans money line and over 42 and a half for that. The next game is Dolphins and Jets. Dolphins are -3 going into New York. Um, I like the Dolphins -3. Zach Wilson has not. I think he's supposed to play this weekend, or he's probable.
He did.
I
He started against the
started
Steelers.
last week.
He beat
Uh,
him.
I like Jacoby Brissett's, or no, who's the backup? Teddy
Teddy
Bridgewater.
Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater has some weapons, man. Just because they lost two, it's a big hit, but their backup's still pretty solid as well. So I trust the Dolphins and all the weapons they have over the Jets
In New York, correct?
in New York.
Yeah. The Jets are a better football team than people think. I think their defense is improving. It's not great, but it's improving. Corey Davis is of course having a pretty damn good year.
Yep.
Classic. I do like Brees Hall and I do like Elijah Moore. So they have weapons around Zach Wilson. I think they're on the come up. I really do. But I think Teddy Bridgewater is the best backup quarterback in the league, and I think they miss a slight beat without Tua, but I don't think it's as big as other people think. So I like the Dolphins in this game as well.
Yep. The next game is Cowboys and Rams. Rams are -5.5. Over under is 43. What do you like in LA?
In LA, Cowboys.
Yep.
I like the Cowboys +6. Reason being, the Rams' offensive line is so bad. They're banged up. The 49ers defensive line ate last week. It was almost too easy for them to get to Stafford. And I don't feel bad for Staff because he got a ring last year, but they were getting to him every so often. And Micah Parsons may just very well be the best rusher in the entire league.
Having a hell of a year.
So I like the Cowboys +6 in this. I think they can win this game outright as well. I just don't know if Stafford. I think losing OBJ was bigger than people think. He's literally only targeting Cooper Kupp at this point and
Yeah.
Higby. So the Rams can very well come out here and try to dominate. But I think I just like this Cowboys team with this defense this year, even with Cooper Rush at quarterback.
And Cooper Rush has been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Definitely cannot be upset with his play, but I like it. I like Cowboys +6 as well. I've been leaning towards the Rams, but you're right, man. Their offensive line is brutal. Matthew Stafford has no time. Maybe if somehow the Rams offensive line clicks this weekend and can block Micah Parsons, then they have a chance. But I don't know if that's going to happen this weekend.
And Trayvon Diggs isn't giving up big. He's really maturing. He's not giving up the
Yeah,
big play like he did. Of course, he could. He was always around the ball. He
yeah,
could intercept better than anybody. But he was also giving up massive plays. And this year,
yeah.
he's not doing that.
Yep. I like the under 43 as well. I think the best would be under 43.
Yeah,
'Cause the Rams defense is just as good, especially with Jalen,
yeah. I mean, of
uh,
course,
Bobby Wagner. I mean,
Aaron Donald,
I mean,
best defender in the league.
so I like the under for sure. I think it's gonna be a close game. So I don't think it's gonna be 6 points worth. I think it's
I
too much.
like a 20-17 type game.
Yeah, for sure. And Rams could win. Hell, who knows? Um, next game is I think it's a big game, man. Bengals and Ravens. I feel like a lot of people are going to be on the Ravens -3 and over under 48.5. So I think a lot of people are going to be on the Ravens -3.
in Cincinnati.
No, it's in Baltimore.
Man, Baltimore's second half struggles are getting real. They look like the Titans in the second half.
Yeah.
Up what 35-14 against the Dolphins, up 20-3 against the Bills, and then I think one they get conservative, and two their defense just stops playing for whatever reason.
Yep.
Um, but with that saying that, I think three. I think people will. I'm scared of this line because I think a lot of people will be on the Ravens. And I think the Bengals are starting to click again. I still don't think they're amazing by any means because of their offensive line.
Yeah.
So I like the Ravens in this game. I like them to learn. I like them to get up in the first half and then actually learn from what they've been doing the last few weeks and put a stamp, at the end of the game and win it. I think they're too much for the Bengals offensive line, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I mean, Lamar Jackson is playing his ass off, man.
He is. I mean that
Offense is pretty good. They're clicking. Rashad Bateman's working out. But dude, I'm going to go with Vegas, man. I'm going Bengals +3. I think this weekend a lot of people are going to lose some money. I don't know what it is, but I think Vegas is going to win a lot, and I'm going to go with Vegas this weekend and go Bengals +3. Next game is Monday Night Football. Raiders versus Chiefs in Kansas City. Kansas City -7. Over under 51.5. What do you like?
And what about that game Sunday or Monday? Was it Sunday? Sunday. The Chiefs, they do this every year. One game they look terrible. The next game, Mahomes is Mahomes again. It's like you can never know what you're going to get from them. But
Dude,
gosh, that dude does some freaking stupid stuff with the football.
and
I mean,
dude, their
every time he's on, I'm watching it because, and I know you hate him, so that's probably why you watch it, but I watch it because he's absolutely unbelievable sometimes. There is no doubt he makes some boneheaded mistakes sometimes, just like
yeah.
every gunslinging quarterback, Brett Favre, Staff, some of those guys. But I mean, good lord, dude, it's remarkable to watch him play sometimes. And I know I'm kind of riding his,
I don't have a problem with Patrick Mahomes.
no, I understand that, but we need to hate him because they're in the
Yeah,
AFC and they've knocked us out, of course. But I just, the Raiders, I think are a better football team than people think. I picked them last week against the Broncos. I thought that was a really good pick, and I was confident in it, and it ended up working out. But I like Mahomes too much in this one. Coming off, they scored 41 points on a damn good Bucks defense.
they
It
did.
made
They've
it look
been
really
dominant.
easy.
Yep.
I
Uh,
just, I think the Raiders defense isn't good enough to hang in there this week.
I agree, man. And I luckily just kind of happened to look on the betting website, and dude, Chiefs money line was +115, and I had to take it, and I took it, and they went
Their money
142.
line was 115
Yeah,
against the Bucks.
yeah.
Fair. It's fair, but it's unfair. It's like,
I mean, dude, especially with all the injuries that Broncos have, and Tom Brady now coming out is getting a divorce or has divorce lawyers.
yeah,
He's just got
that's
too
a
much
big
going
thing,
on.
man. He should have retired, man.
He should have, dude.
I'm not saying I don't know their marriage. Maybe their marriage is shit. I
Yeah,
mean, we're all speculating at this point. We don't know here and there. But if it was because he came back to play football for no utter reason, I mean, he's the GOAT. He has 7 rings. There's no debating that. It's going to be hard for anybody to ever surpass him. You got kids, man. Your wife wants you at home. You've been playing
you're
for 25
45.
years, and you've been damn good for 25 years.
Yeah, and you got all the money, like you're not playing for anything. But anyways, yeah. So I finally, hey, I won Kansas City money line last week. It was the only game I bet, but man, felt good. But I like Chiefs -7 as well in Kansas City. It's hard to play, especially Monday night. Then people freaking tailgate and they go out there and party. It's a good time down there. I like Chiefs -7.
Sweet, man.
Other than that, that's all we got. Is back next week for NFL and college again.
Yes, sir. Go Balls.
Auburn's going to beat Georgia.